Welcome back to the Tournament Centre here in Kuala Lumpur. Rich Hagan, Bill Stark, the mouth and the brains. That's the way it works here. We are through 9 rounds of Kuala Lumpur, and 8-1 is the best record. No 9-0s anymore. Got a big list of 8-1s though. Chang Chua, Bill talked about in our last show. Matthias Kettel of Sweden. Only 2 Swedes pros this year. He's one of them. He's doing the business. John Finkel, 8-1. Really did the business with Mirror Entity in his last draft. Joel Calafell of Spain, is there. Guillaume Wafatapa. Paul Cheon, the American you know. Now here's another American we don't know, but you do. Nate Siftar. Tell us about him, Bill.
Absolutely. Nate Siftar is a young player from Minnesota, and he's one of the few Minnesotans left after Jerry Thompson and John Pelkak and a number of those great players left the state or have moved on to other things. And it's really exciting to see him. He's not new to the Pro Tour, but he hasn't really had a successful finish yet. He is staying with fellow Iowans this weekend, actually, so there's a little bit of hometown hero stuff there. Yep. But it's exciting to see him do well, and it's always exciting to see those new young players from America coming up.
Sure.
So.
Now, we talked a little bit yesterday about how draws early in the tournament are very bad for you because you get 1 point for them, sounds all right, but it doesn't contribute to the 3 you need towards that 12, effectively 4 wins, 2 losses, getting you into day 2. But once you're past that point, again, draws are kind of good. So underneath those 7, we have Jan Massicard of France. Now he's at 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. That puts him behind those 7, but it puts him in front of this list of names at 7 wins and 2. They include Shingu Kurihara, another Hall of Famer, Nikolai Herzog, Kazuya Midamura of Japan, Manuel Bucher, Team World Champ, and Mike Rohn. Now, last time I checked, Mike Rohn, winner from Geneva, of course, a year ago, he was 1 and 2 in his first draft pod, and he was done. So by my reckoning, that's 6 straight wins.
Yes, absolutely. Mike has really pulled it together, and you got to give credit to a guy who's generally regarded by most of the pros and old school pros like Bob Marr as one of the top limited minds in the game. He really stuck it out. He stayed together, and the Madison crew that he's playing with from Madison, Wisconsin, only one of their guys didn't make day 2. Unfortunately, he did get paired against Godinis Vidugris, one of his teammates earlier, but he's a real strong player and always a dark horse for top 8 if he's still going this strong so late.
Okay, one other guy to mention, again, someone in what we call the draw bracket, 6 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, Rafael Levy, yet another Hall of Famer. You tend not to think of Levy as Hall of Fame because he never left the game. He's never been away. He's just consistently grinding out the results. And he's right up there. We're going to talk a bit about European magic, of which Levy is such a major pillar. But first, trivia moment. Last time round, we asked you, of course, USA, the largest contingent in the Hall of Fame. But were they a majority of the 15? What do you go for?
I would have to guess yes because of how good America was at the beginning of the PT.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's narrow. It's a split decision. It's 8-7. You've got John Finkel, Alan Comer, Rob Doherty, Darwin Castle, YMGers, Dave Humphries, Randy Buehler, of course, our very own, Zvi Moshevitz, and Bob Marr, who you've already mentioned this show. So by 8-7 right now, the US lead the way. I think that's going to increase this year because off the top of my head, I think Ben Rubin, Mike Turian, for sure, they seem like really strong candidates.
There's a lot of good candidates this year. 8-7 is closer than I would have guessed.
Yeah, fair enough. So, European magic. What's the European scene like this year? Well, of course, I've been on the European GP circuit the last couple of years, know a lot of these guys. The real powerhouse right now is France. Les Sept Magnifiques, the Magnificent 7. 2 Ruel brothers, Antoine and Olivier, Guillaume Wafatapa, then you've got Raf Levy, Emile Tenenbaum, you've got Gabriel Nassif, former Player of the Year, and Remy Fortier. Now, to think that Remy Fortier is like this new guy on the block. He won, of course, in Valencia, really laid it all out on the line in Valencia, a real epic win for him. And he's the, quote, worst of the French pros. That's outstanding. You know, these guys between them, they have 4 PT wins. They have 60 Grand Prix top 8 appearances. The experience of the French squad is absolutely unrivaled. Absolutely astonishing. You look at the Germans, they've got a reasonable squad. There's about 5 or 6 of them. The Dutch, similarly. Nikolai Potovin of Russia, we've talked about. He's at 6-3 now, though, slipping away. And, of course, in general terms, you look at the Swiss and the Austrians. No power names, no people you instantly think, oh, of course, in the history of magic, we'll talk about this Swiss guy, this Austrian guy. But then you look, There were eight Swiss and Austrians in the final of the Team World Champs last year, and they're up the leaderboard again. But I want to concentrate on two people. First of all, if we have a look up here on the screen, this guy you may not recognize. His name is Robert van Metervoort from the Netherlands, and he's a guy who, in a sense, has suffered from being in a country where there have been so many great pros in the past. And Van Metervoort came to attention around about 2004. I started hearing about him from some of the Dutch guys. They're saying, yeah, he's pretty good. 2005, he's a Team World Champion. But because he's in with Camille Cornelissen and Julian Nuyten, and it's like, well, he's the other guy. 2006, sorry, that is 2006. 2007, he comes back as the national champion and leads the Dutch team to the brink of the finals again, and already a Grand Prix top 8 this season, runner-up behind Shuhei Nakamura in Stuttgart, and he's still in the tournament here, 6-3 at the moment. Now, the other guy I want to talk to you about, coming up on the screen here, is Sebastian Thaler. Some of you may remember him as Sebastian Ai, and we're really upset that he changed his name. No, we're not. So, former Rookie of the Year, he won Grand Prix Athens in 2006, possibly one of the best German players at the moment, but since his rookie year, he found last year tough. He made the top 8 in Yokohama, and honestly, I've rarely seen someone so miserable at the start of a Super Sunday, because I said, what's the deal? And he said, you know, I've looked at the matchup, I really cannot win. And he wasn't wrong. He got pretty firmly butchered. And I guess when it's matchup dependent, you can look at the cards and you know that you've got problems sometimes. Like Thiago at the end of Worlds 2006. He sat down and went, I just cannot actually beat Nassif with his infinite life gain deck. So Sebastian Thaler, Robert van Metervoort, two guys I think are going to make a big noise on the European scene. Well, that is it for now. We are pretty much done here. When we come back, we will be bringing you a little draft analysis. We've had Bill watching none other than Paul Cheon, one of the leaders at 8-1, find out the secret of his success. He's drafted 3 different archetypes already this weekend. Will it be a 4th? You can find out right here on Tournament Centre. But for now, I'm your host, Rich Hagan for Bill Stark, saying bye.